Hey y'all, so I am just riding to get laser hair removal. And I just wanted to talk about PCOS, guys. That is polycystic ovarian syndrome. And the point of me being on social media is just to encourage you guys however I can. And so yeah, let's talk about PCOS today. So, I was just sitting on my couch and I was like, Lord, I am tired of making these laser payments. I am tired of going through this. I am tired of the hair growth. And I have my moments when I'm like, well, it's never gonna stop. It's never just gonna stop completely. Because like even when you get pregnant, it can cause the hair to start growing back. And yesterday I was like, Lord, I really don't want to hate the hormones in my body. I really don't want to hate the way my body works or the way any part of me works. So as today as I was just sitting on the couch thinking about how I'm just tired of these appointments and these payments, I just had to acknowledge that, the Lord uses it all. The Lord uses it all. And I remember just, I remember when I was like in middle school, just being bullied because of the hair, because I was just so hairy. And sometimes even when I see the hair growing, like how it grows here, sometimes like when I see the hair on my face or on my body, today when I saw the hair on my face, I was just like, I don't know, it was a cringe moment for me. And I don't want to just look at myself and cringe. What I do in those moments, guys, I just remind myself to just acknowledge the Lord. He uses it all. It's for His glory. It's for our good. And also, guys, I just think about people's rejection. Just people always calling me ugly growing up. I praise God that it happened, because it taught me to not seek after, to not desire, to not yearn for people's approval, because people are fickle. So it has really taught me to just lean and depend on God. It has been one of the factors. People's rejection of me has been one of the things that the Lord has used to ground me. But guys, I feel like the worst is over when it comes to like my experience with PCOS, because even though I still have the hair growth, the laser does help it to grow in much finer. So, oh my gosh, it is much better. And I think the worst thing I ever experienced, this was kind of emotional. I mean, it's emotional having the hair growth, but the worst physical part I've ever experienced was when I was in school. I was 20 and I was running track, and so I was running hard, and what happened? I started feeling sick. I started feeling nauseous, and then I was like, I went to the bathroom. I was like, oh, okay, I just got my cycle early. But that was kind of weird to me, because I'm like, usually when I get my cycle, I have like, I get PMS symptoms first, like nausea and cramping, but I didn't experience any of that. And it was super light, but I still figured it was just my cycle. But I was like, I stayed sick, and then I started vomiting. I didn't go to class. I was vomiting, and then I just, I called the ambulance. Yep. I called somebody up, the lady who was over the dorms, and I told her I wasn't feeling well. After she come out, she was like, well, if you're that sick, you need to call an ambulance. So I called the ambulance, and my blood pressure was low. And when I got to the ER, they gave me fluids, I believe, but they said I had ruptured a cyst on my ovary, because I had like a lot of ovarian cysts, and I've had them since I was like a teenager. But y'all, that was terrible pain. It was like, oh my gosh, the pain was a 10 out of 10. Okay, I'll say a 9.999 out of 10, because I was able to walk barely, but I was able to barely move. It took me a really long time. It took me a really long time to move a centimeter, but I was able to move. And then I called my sister and I'm like, can you come like get me, because I'm in such pain. And then she was gonna come drive like an hour or more away to get me. And I was just praying, Lord Jesus, take the pain. Also, y'all, one of the things I remember about that day is as I was just sitting there, you know, in the waiting room on the phone with my sister after I had managed to get up out of that wheelchair, you know, that I was sitting in, because they had wheeled me into the waiting room because I couldn't walk. There was just a lady sitting there with her husband, and you know, I was just slamming those days, and all I had on like some shorts, some really short shorts, and some tennis shoes. And the lady, I guess she was feeling like insecure, and she was like, you know, regarding me, she was like, she knows she could have put some clothes on. You know, that lady didn't know anything about my situation. I was just sitting there at home feeling sick, breaking up with my boyfriend at the time. My boyfriend, I was feeling sick, and this is what my boyfriend was doing, y'all. He was texting me, asking me if we could fornicate. And I was like, I was so upset. I was like, no. And I was like, he kept on bothering me about it. Then I just broke up with him because I was in such pain. I was like, I don't want to be bothered by that. So I was just sitting there in pain, breaking up with my boyfriend, calling the ambulance. They put on my tennis shoes for me. I was already just in my shorts. And here I am in pain in the waiting room. And this lady's just feeling insecure, saying I could have put on some clothes because she and her husband are sitting right there. And she's not feeling the most confident as she sees a slim 20-year-old in some really short shorts in front of her. I was in the worst pain of my life. So yeah, y'all, just remember that lady's insecurity. I think it was just so crazy. I think it was so crazy. But y'all, yep. So that's it. I prayed to the Lord. I was like, man, because those people had given me morphine and stuff, but it didn't do anything. I don't know. I guess morphine is supposed to be strong, but it didn't do anything for the pain I was feeling. But I prayed to the Lord, and as Talisha was close by, the pain it went away suddenly. I was slowly trying to move, and I was like, oh my gosh, no pain. And I was able to just get up, and I'm like, I called Talisha back. I'm like, Talisha, no pain. Oh my gosh. And it was just so wonderful. Well, the bleeding, it continued for a few days, but yep, y'all. Yep, that's been my PCOS experience. Praise Jesus. I've never had another cyst rupture. Sometimes, like, guys, when I eat certain foods, like when I eat like greasy foods and it's about time for my cycle to start, it really feels like my ovaries are cramping. But when I eat healthy, I don't feel that way at all. And I'm about 12 minutes away from the people who are going to do my laser. I used to go to Ideal Image. At first, I didn't want to go to them just because I didn't like the name. I was like, why do we have to be perfect? Why do we have to have an ideal image? But I went to them anyway because I thought it was the better choice than just going to like the dermatologist. Well, the dermatologist told me to go to the Skincare and Laser Center. But I was like, yeah, I just went to Ideal Image. I ended up going there. But this, you know, now I go to the Skincare and Laser Center. And it is much better. It is much better. I would say it's more affordable. And the results are better. And the customer service is better. I just feel like the people here are just more genuine. They're not fake. You know, they're not fake nice. But that's it, y'all. That is it. I am trying to see if there's anything else I want to add. Oh, I will say, y'all, if y'all are like plant-based, and I mean like, well, I don't know, this has been my experience. So when I'm really healthy plant-based, like I'm talking raw, that time of the month is a breeze. So, yep. I guess that's all, y'all. I am in a talkative mood. I will also say, when that lady was feeling insecure about me just standing there on the phone trying to call my sister to come rescue me, you know, I felt the need to explain myself, you know, as I was on the phone with my sister. So because I used to feel the need to explain myself to people, I kind of explained why I was wearing just booty shorts and tennis shoes. You know, I was on the phone with Talisha, and that lady had just, you know, expressed her insecurity. And what I told Talisha, I was just like, and those people, you know, I was just in shorts, and the EMTs didn't put me on any pants. They just put my shoes on. So I'm just standing here in booty shorts. And, you know, I should not have felt like I needed to explain myself. The girl I am now, I would have just ignored the lady. And I would have prayed for her. Y'all, I used to get laser on multiple parts of my body. But now, right now, I'm only doing it on my face. And I go every 6 to 8 weeks. Usually it's every 6 weeks. But when my last 6-week marker hit, I was like, I don't want to give them $100. That's how much they charge me every time I get my face lasered. But turns out I still got to give them $100 because it's something I have got to do. Y'all, I just remembered, I told y'all that, you know, PCOS can be an emotional experience for me because of the hair growth, but I also mentioned that it was a little emotional because of the cyst. And this is why. When I ruptured that cyst, I was afraid to run. I did not run for like 2 whole weeks. And I told my coach that I was afraid to run because I didn't want it to happen again. And she would just ignore me and stuff. I think I could have been a good runner, and I think I had my moments when I was a good runner. But, you know, I just felt like there was so much I was going through mentally that I couldn't push myself. And she was never really around to push me. But, yeah, so she didn't really see me as one of her star runners, which is fine. But when I told her that I was too afraid to run, you know, she didn't really message back. She wasn't checking on me or anything. But when she saw me one day, she was like, that rupture could have happened at any time. It could have happened in your sleep. And y'all, I've had to forgive that lady for that. I've had to forgive her for not caring. I've had to forgive her for her lack of sympathy. And it's something I've thought about over the years. I mean, that was 10 years ago. It was 10 years ago. But I went to this, like, revival the other night. And the guy who was, like, prophesying, he said a couple things that kind of resonated with me. One of the things he said was that he was like, I'm seeing that someone needs to forgive a former sports coach. He said something like that. But yep, y'all, the Lord has been blessing my journey. Y'all, that took only 3 minutes. Now I'm headed home.